Have you ever done everything right in your garden and still watched your plants struggle? Walter Brooks certainly had. At 82 years old, Walter had spent more than 5 decades growing vegetables behind the little white cottage he called home. His neighbors often joked that he could grow tomatoes in a bucket of gravel. Most summers, they were almost right. His tomatoes ripened into deep shades of red. His green beans climbed higher than the fence. His peppers seemed to double in size overnight. People often asked him what fertilizer he used. Others wanted to know his secret watering schedule. Some even believed he had discovered a special trick passed down through generations. Walter would simply smile. There are no shortcuts, he always said. There are only good habits. But one July morning, something unexpected happened. He walked into his garden carrying his usual cup of black coffee. The birds were singing. The sun had just begun to rise. Everything looked peaceful. Then he stopped. The tomato leaves were curling. A few flowers had fallen to the ground. The lettuce looked tired. Even the bean plants seemed to be asking for help. Walter slowly knelt beside one of his tomato plants. He pressed his fingers into the soil. The surface felt dry, but just 2 inches below, the soil was soaking wet. He frowned. "That doesn't make sense," he whispered. The evening before, he had watered the garden just as he always did. Or so he thought. If you've ever noticed your plants looking stressed even though you've been watering faithfully, don't worry, you aren't alone. Many gardeners run into this in midsummer. Stay with me, because Walter's discovery might save your harvest too. Just then, his 12-year-old grandson, Ethan, came running through the back gate. "Morning, Grandpa." Walter looked up with a smile that quickly faded. "I think the garden's trying to teach me something today." Ethan looked around. "It looks fine to me." Walter pointed toward the tomatoes. "Look closer." Together they examined the plants. The leaves were curling upward. Some blossoms had dropped before turning into fruit. The soil looked dry from above, yet felt damp underneath. "What happened?" Ethan asked. Walter sat quietly on the old wooden bench beneath the maple tree. "I think I've been making the same mistake many gardeners make every July." Ethan looked surprised. "You?" Walter laughed softly. "Especially me. You never stop learning in a garden." He took another sip of coffee before continuing. "When July arrives, the days grow hotter. The sun stays out longer, and plants begin using water differently. That's when many people start watering more often." Ethan nodded. "Isn't that a good thing?" "Not always." Walter stood and picked up the garden hose. This is where many gardens begin to struggle. He turned the nozzle on for only a minute or two, lightly spraying the surface of one garden bed. "There, it looks watered." Ethan smiled. "It does." Walter knelt and gently brushed away the top layer of soil. Beneath the surface, the roots are still thirsty. He explained that shallow, frequent watering often encourages many plant roots to stay close to the surface instead of growing deeper where moisture lasts longer. During hot weather, the surface dries out quickly, and shallow-rooted plants can become stressed more easily. "So what should we do instead?" Ethan asked. Walter smiled. "We'll discover that together." But before he could answer, Mrs. Henderson walked over carrying a basket. "Walter," she called, "my tomatoes are wilting every afternoon. I water them every single day. What am I doing wrong?" Walter looked at Ethan and quietly smiled. "It seems we're not the only ones." He invited her into the garden. As the three of them stood among the tomato vines, Walter picked up a handful of mulch lying beside one of the beds. "You know," he said, "sometimes the biggest gardening mistakes aren't about what we forget to do. They're about doing the right thing the wrong way." Mrs. Henderson looked puzzled. Ethan looked curious. Walter looked toward the rows of vegetables glowing in the morning sun. "Today," he said, "the garden is going to teach all of us a lesson." And by the end of the day, Walter would discover that one simple change, not a new fertilizer, not an expensive tool, and not a miracle product, could help his garden face the hottest days of summer with far more confidence. That lesson would soon spread through the entire neighborhood. The next morning, Walter was already in the garden before the sun had fully climbed above the maple trees. The air was cool. Birds were singing. A light breeze moved gently through the bean vines. "This," Walter said, looking at Ethan, "is my favorite time to water." Ethan glanced around. "But it's not hot yet." Walter smiled. "Exactly." He slowly turned on the hose and let the water flow gently around the base of a tomato plant. He didn't spray the leaves. He didn't rush from one plant to another. He watered slowly, allowing the moisture to soak deep into the soil. You see, he explained, watering early in the morning gives plants time to absorb moisture before the hottest part of the day. It also leaves less water sitting on the leaves overnight, which can help reduce some plant disease problems. Mrs. Henderson, who had returned with a notebook, quickly wrote that down. So, she asked, watering every afternoon isn't the best idea. It depends, Walter replied kindly. If the soil truly needs water, then water. But don't water just because the day is hot. He knelt beside another tomato plant and pushed his finger a couple of inches into the soil. It still feels moist. So, this plant can wait. Ethan looked surprised. So, you don't water every plant every day? Walter laughed. No, I water according to what the soil tells me, not what the calendar says. Mrs. Henderson smiled. I've been watering by habit. Walter nodded. And gardens don't grow by habit. They grow by observation. As they walked farther into the garden, Walter stopped beside a row of peppers. The soil around them was covered with a thick layer of straw. Ethan pointed at it. Why is there hay around your plants? Walter picked up a handful. It's straw mulch. It helps shade the soil, slows evaporation, and keeps the roots cooler during hot weather. He explained that mulch can also reduce weed growth and help the soil hold moisture longer, meaning gardeners may not need to water as often. Mrs. Henderson looked amazed. So that's why your soil stays cool. Walter smiled. Nature likes to keep the ground covered. Forests don't leave their soil bare. Neither should we. They continued walking until they reached the cucumber bed. Large green leaves spread across the ground. Bright yellow flowers were beginning to turn into tiny cucumbers. Walter gently lifted one of the vines. See this? Tiny weeds were just beginning to appear. They're still small, Ethan said. Exactly, Walter replied. And that's the best time to remove them. Within minutes, they had cleared the bed. Walter dusted off his hands. Small weeds become big problems if we ignore them. That's true in gardening. And sometimes in life. Ethan smiled. I think you're teaching more than gardening. Walter winked. I usually am. As the morning grew warmer, they reached the tomato patch again. Walter picked a ripe tomato and sliced it open with his pocket knife. The inside was rich, juicy, and deep red. He handed half to Ethan. The other half went to Mrs. Henderson. They both took a bite. That's incredible, Mrs. Henderson whispered. Walter smiled. It didn't happen because I watered more. It happened because I watered better. Just then, he noticed something fluttering above the flowers. A honeybee landed gently on a blossom. Then another. Soon butterflies joined them. I've never seen so many pollinators, Ethan said. Walter pointed toward a colorful strip of flowers growing beside the vegetables. I always leave room for flowers. He explained that many flowering plants attract bees, butterflies, and other pollinators that help many fruits and vegetables produce better harvests. Gardens aren't just about vegetables, he said. They're about creating a healthy place for all kinds of life. Mrs. Henderson looked around with new eyes. I've spent years trying to control everything. Walter nodded thoughtfully. The healthiest gardens aren't controlled. They're cared for. By midday, the summer sun was blazing. The air shimmered above the garden beds. Across the street, a neighbor hurried outside with a sprinkler, soaking every inch of his yard in the hottest part of the afternoon. Walter watched quietly. He didn't criticize. Instead, he looked at Ethan. Come back this evening, he said. I want to show you something. As the sun began to set, they returned to the garden. Walter's tomato plants still stood tall. The leaves looked fresh. The mulch had helped the soil stay cooler. The morning's deep watering had carried the plants through the hottest hours of the day. Across the street, however, the neighbor's vegetable bed looked tired and wilted, despite being watered in the afternoon. Ethan frowned. How can that happen? Walter smiled gently. Sometimes we work harder, when what we really need is to work wiser. Ethan looked around the peaceful garden, finally beginning to understand that successful gardening wasn't about doing more. It was about paying closer attention. And tomorrow, Walter would share the lesson that changed not only his garden, but the entire neighborhood. The following Saturday morning, Walter's backyard looked different. Word had spread. Neighbors arrived carrying lawn chairs, notebooks, gardening gloves, and plenty of questions. Some brought tomatoes with curling leaves. Others carried wilted cucumber. vines or pepper plants that seemed to have stopped growing. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. What changed your garden? Walter smiled as he welcomed them through the little wooden gate. Come in, he said. The garden has room for everyone. Ethan looked around and whispered, Grandpa, I don't think I've ever seen this many people here. Walter chuckled. It only takes one good harvest to start a conversation. The group gathered beneath the old maple tree while birds sang overhead. Walter held up two small garden trowels. They both look the same, he said, but one has been cared for, cleaned, and sharpened after every season. He handed them around. The neighbors quickly noticed the difference. The lesson? Walter asked. It's not always what you have. It's how you care for it. Then he walked toward the tomato patch. He gently pushed aside the straw mulch and invited everyone to touch the soil. Mrs. Henderson reached down first. It still feels cool, she said with surprise. Walter nodded. Even after several hot July afternoons, he smiled. The mulch has been protecting it. He explained that a layer of organic mulch such as clean straw, shredded leaves, or untreated wood chips, depending on the crop, helps reduce evaporation, keeps soil temperatures more stable, and can suppress many weeds. One of the younger neighbors raised his hand. So should I water every morning? Walter shook his head kindly. Not necessarily. He picked up a small hand trowel and dug a few inches into another bed. The soil decides. If it's still moist below the surface, many plants can wait another day. He looked around the group. Gardening isn't about following a clock. It's about paying attention. Everyone nodded. Walter continued. Many gardeners make two mistakes in July. They water too often ... or they water too quickly. He placed the hose beside a pepper plant and turned it onto a slow trickle. Slow watering allows moisture to soak deeper into the root zone instead of running off the surface. Ethan watched carefully. So the roots grow deeper too. Exactly. And deeper roots usually help plants cope better during hot, dry weather. The neighbors scribbled notes. Mrs. Henderson laughed. I've been watering the leaves more than the roots. Walter smiled. A lot of us have. Then he pointed toward a patch of flowers blooming beside the vegetables. Bright zinnias, marigolds, and purple coneflowers swayed gently in the breeze as bees moved from blossom to blossom. Those flowers aren't just pretty, Walter said. They help attract pollinators. And a healthy garden benefits from a diversity of plants. He reminded everyone that pollinators are essential for many fruits and vegetables, and creating a welcoming habitat can improve the overall health of the garden. As the morning went on, Walter walked from bed to bed, answering questions. One neighbor asked why his tomatoes were splitting. Walter explained that inconsistent watering can sometimes contribute to fruit cracking. Another wondered why his lettuce had turned bitter. Walter explained that summer heat often causes lettuce to bolt and become less tender, making succession planting or choosing heat-tolerant varieties helpful. Every answer was practical. Every lesson came from experience. Finally, Ethan asked the question everyone had been thinking. Grandpa, what if someone has already made these mistakes? Walter smiled warmly. Then tomorrow is the perfect day to begin again. He looked around at the group. No gardener gets everything right. I've made mistakes every single season. The difference is that I let the garden teach me instead of letting failure stop me. The backyard grew quiet. Even the children listened. Walter continued. You know what I've learned after all these years? The healthiest gardens aren't grown by people with the most money. They're grown by people who pay attention, people who notice, people who keep learning. Mrs. Henderson looked across her own yard and smiled. I think I was trying to fight the summer. Walter nodded. When you understand the season, you stop fighting it. As the neighbors prepared to leave, they thanked Walter one by one. Some carried home a little straw mulch. Others left with packets of bean seeds. A few took fresh tomatoes. But everyone carried home something far more valuable, a new way of looking at their gardens. That evening, as the sun dipped below the trees, Ethan and Walter sat once again on the old wooden bench. The garden was calm. The tomatoes glowed in the golden light. The bees had returned to their hives. Ethan smiled. I think today's harvest was bigger than the vegetables. Walter looked across the garden and nodded. I think you're right, because when wisdom grows, it never stays in just one garden. If this story reminded you of someone who loves to garden, share it with them. And before you go, tell us in the comments, what's the biggest gardening lesson you've learned during the summer? If you enjoyed this story, Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Evergreen Seniors, where timeless gardening wisdom and heartfelt stories continue to bloom one season at a time.